Hey guys, Darren Asbury here with Revital Outdoors, bringing you another exciting podcast. Tonight, we're going to go to the great state of North Carolina. We're going to interview Mr. Ben Robertson. Ben actually tied for the win last year in the BFL tournament on High Rock Lake, so we're very excited to talk to Ben. He's going to give us a little insight on his tournament last year, how he was able to capture all the fish that he did, how he was able to tie in that tournament, and then what his tips and ideas for this year is going to be. So very excited to bring him in. Before we get started, as always, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you get notified when all of our content is dropping. Also, check us out, Revital Outdoors, on Instagram and Facebook. If you've never heard of Revital Outdoors, we're a premium CBD company for the outdoor enthusiasts. Our products are THC-free. They're made right here in America, and you can purchase all of our products on our website. That's www.revitaloutdoors.com. So that being said, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring him in, Mr. Ben Robertson. How you doing this evening, bud?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Doing good. So, well, man, we've never talked to anybody about High Rock Lake. It's a lake that I'm kind of unfamiliar with. There's a lot of great fisheries there in North Carolina and South Carolina. But tell us a little bit about High Rock Lake. And, looking at your profile on Major League Fishing, it seems like you've got a very good reputation on that lake.
High Rock, man. So it's in the Yadkin River Lake. It's the first lake in the chain. So it's super nutritious. It's got all the things you need. You can fish deep, you can fish shallow. Some of the areas of the lake clean up faster, so you can fish cleaner water. It's notorious for being dirty because, like I said, it's the first lake in the river system. But you can find about anything you want on High Rock. You can fish deep, shallow. A lot of guys, it's known back in the day for like the David Fritz for a crankbait lake. You can still catch them on a crankbait now, but you can do whatever you want on High Rock, man. It's a great lake, and it's super quality. You catch 3 fish, you're going to catch a 3-pounder in one of those 3 fish. So it's a fun place to fish for sure.
Okay, well, let's just get down to the basics. Clear water, dirty water, is it predominantly filled with largemouth? Does it have some spotted bass in it? Like, give us a little lay of the land on when it comes to High Rock.
I would consider it predominantly dirty. It's 90% of the time it's dirty until the midsummer. It just gets that good color look. As far as I know, I would say 99% largemouth. There's a few spots. I've heard of a few guys catching spots up the river, probably just where they've been dropped off from the local lakes. But big largemouth lake, springtime takes big weights, really all times of the year. You're never out of the question to swing and it be a 5+ pound fish. That's what makes it such a fun lake, especially for around here. It's one of the best fisheries in our state. I think it's like a hidden gem.
Okay. So, well, looking back at your tournament last year, again, tied for the win, BFL North Carolina division. Walk us through your tournament a little bit. What were you able to kind of find in practice? What were you able to piece together? But more importantly, how many keepers did you catch throughout the day?
Okay. So we'd fished a tournament there 2 weekends prior to the BFL. And it was a big bass tournament, and we didn't catch anything to weigh in for big bass. We got a little pattern going. We were catching some fish, but they were all like 2-pounders. Mm-hmm. So coming into the tournament the week of, we went down and practiced on Tuesday, but the water was high. So the way that lake lays out, there's low bridges, and if the water is basically full pool, you can't get under the bridges, which cuts you down like a third of the lake, it makes it fish a lot smaller if you can't get under those bridges. So in practice, I actually wasn't able to get to the area where I had found fish. So we kind of reset and fished some main lake stuff. No luck in practice. Was not really looking forward to it. Come the day before the tournament, I was able to get down there and practice a half day again. And the water had receded enough where I could get under the bridge. And I left my primary area alone that I'd found the week before. It's just kind of like a fallback, and fished some new stuff, and really was not on much. The day before, I caught 1 keeper on my first place. My starting place. So that's kind of what we were rolling with. In the back of my head, I knew I had that area to go to later in the day when the sun got up. It's a dock fishing pattern. So I knew the sun needed to get up, and luckily we had a good warm sunny day in June. So that was the pre-practice coming into it. In the tournament, I started on the area. I had caught my 1 fish in pre-practice. Pulled up there, my co-angler caught 2 or 3 short fish. I had a couple bites. We didn't catch anything. And I knew I had a long time to wait pretty much until my bite picked up because I didn't want to fish through my area too early. So we just kind of ran around all morning. Not going to say kill time because we were trying to catch fish, but I didn't catch a keeper until almost 11 o'clock. It was like 10:48. And I pulled into an area that I hadn't fished before, working towards where I wanted to fish later in the day, and caught a 4-pounder on a dock on a shaky head. flipped it right in the middle of the dock. After 4.5 hours of not getting a bite, when you finally get a bite, it almost scares you. So that was cool. Got a bite. Sun was getting up, so I started making my way into my area. Caught a big catfish, and then caught another keeper. So at 12 o'clock, I had 2 keepers, and my whole goal was just catch 5. Like I just want to catch 5. About 10 minutes later, I catch a 6-pounder on a shaky head on a dock. So that was a big relief. I knew I had 3 fish for about 9 pounds, and I was like, okay, we just need to catch 2 more. And that was like 12:15. So I've got till 3 o'clock before I got to run back. So I got plenty of time to catch 2 more fish. And for about the next 10 or 12 docks, I probably caught a keeper on every dock and slowly culled all the way up. Was culling 3-pounders by the end of it, putting them on a beam, and it'd be like a 3-2 and a 3-1. And I was super tickled. Still didn't realize how much weight I had at the end. And I was idling out. It's a real shallow area, so I was idling out. And I said, "There's one more dock I want to stop and pull up on and make a cast." So at this point, I had like a 6. The first one I caught was like a 4, 2 3.5s, and a 3-pounder. So the next dock I pull up on, I catch a 3.5, call my 3-pounder out. I was like, all right, man, let's go. And I see that one dock, one waypoint left on my screen. I'm like, we hadn't fished it. We fished everything else. We got enough time. Let's hit it. I said, it'd be some crap if we caught a 5-pounder right here. I pull up,
Right.
make one cast, flip right in the middle of the dock, catch a 5-pounder. And I'm like,
Wow.
wow, this is going crazy. So I call like a 3-4 out. I mean, I can't believe I have to throw you back. I'm looking through my live load to make sure I'm calling the right one. We make the ride back, get up there to the weigh-in, talking to some of my buddies because I was last flight. I was like 5 out from the last guy. So I see all the weights. Pretty much everybody's weighed in. And I see my buddy, Scott Hamrick, has weighed in 2110. And I'm like, man, that's a great bag. This is the only BFL in North Carolina that he has not won on High Rock. So I'm like, man, he's going to win. He's going to finalize, all the North Carolina lakes. So he's talking to me in the weigh-in. He's like, man, how much you got? You look like you have a good bag. I was like, man, I probably got 18 pounds. It's a good bag, but I don't have anything to compete with you. And he's like, oh, okay. So I go up there and weigh in. Right before I go to weigh in, I talk to the guy where you dump your fish in the trough, and he goes, congratulations, man, you just won this tournament. I'm like, I won this tournament, man. I hadn't weighed in. Scott's got 21 pounds. He's like, you got more than you think you have. So I'm like, all right, well, bag him up and go up there on stage, and I sit him in the thing. Guy takes his hand off the fish, and 21:10. We pop up. We both tied at 21:10. So I wouldn't have it any other way. Looking back, it was cool. Caught a lot of keepers late in the day. Just had an amazing afternoon. Very blessed. Super cool to tie with Scott Hamrick, who's one of my good friends in the tournaments. So like we said, we both got credit for the win. Both got a trophy, which is right here.
Yeah.
Both got a berth into the regional. So it was a win-win-win every way you look at it for me. So
absolutely. Really cool story. So dogfish primarily, you said you were throwing a shaky head. Is that pretty much how you did all your damage, was throwing that shaky head?
After I caught that one keeper, I had about 47 rods laid out on the deck. I sat down and put every rod up except 2 shaky heads. And I said, this is what I'm sticking to the rest of the day. I'm not going to have any more distractions. So we threw a shaky head all day. It was a Dave's tournament tackle spot remover shaky head and a purple, like dark purple worm that he makes.
Okay, kind of like a
like
margarita
a grape
color or something.
Yeah, like a grape or something like that.
Okay, I got you. What, a couple last questions before we let you go. How do you predict the tournament will be this year? And what stage of the? I mean, with the way you're talking and the dogfish and all that, that tells me that the fish are in all 3 stages of the spawn. There's some still pre-spawn, there's some spawning, and probably some in the post-spawn. Do you predict the same thing for this year, or what do you think the fish are kind of doing?
So when we went last year, it was in June, so it was definitely post-spawn, like summer feed. This year, we actually, North Carolina Trail goes twice. So we go April 23rd and then I think June 23rd, somewhere in late June. So we'll get to fish. The first tournament we're coming up on will probably be a primary spawn. You'll have a few fish off the spawn and a few fish pre-spawn. You should be able to do kind of whatever you want. The June tournament obviously will be another summer deal. You should get a dock bite and you should get a good deep water bite going too. But the one coming up definitely will be a shallow beatdown, honestly. I mean, the guys that are up there was the big tournament there this weekend. 10th place, you had to have 20 pounds. 20th place, you had to have 19 or 18 pounds. So it's chock full of big fish. So I fully expect the late April bite to be insane. It'll be a really fun tournament.
That makes sense to what you said at the beginning of the podcast about High Rock being a little bit of a silent gem. I mean, that sounds like a hell of a silent gem to me. So
yeah, it doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. I mean, there's a lot of tournaments there in the summer because, like I said, it used to be known for the deep fishing, and it still has got good deep fishing, but it doesn't get the pressure, like, in my opinion, like Lake Norman, the big tournaments. You don't. There's been 2 classics on High Rock back in the day, but it doesn't get the big pressure like it should, I don't think. But that's fine with me. Leave it alone.
Hey, you can't argue with that. You can't argue with that.
Right.
So before we let you go, what do you think as a co-angler fishing this? I know you say you're a dock fisherman, and I really want to kind of ask this question to a dock fisherman because I grew up on a lake in Oklahoma that has primarily a lot of docks too.
Mm-hmm.
And when co-anglers hear or see themselves fishing behind a guy that's flipping docks or fishing docks, they immediately, all the emotion just kind of drains out of their face. I think they could use it toward their advantage. So as a co-angler, what would you do? And how would you rig up the baits that you're throwing?
So I fished it as a co-angler twice and zeroed both times. So I have not a great experience, but I learned a lot from those 2 tournaments. If it was me, I would, depending on if your boater was to be fishing shallow, which, like I said, 90% of the lake, even when you're fishing offshore, you're within a cast of the bank or a couple casts. So you're not far. I would have a shaky head of some sort. You could even throw a weightless trick worm or like a Texas rig style Cinco, a weighted trick Cinco, something like that. Any type of soft plastic. A lot of guys like jigs, but the docks I'm fishing primarily are loaded with brush. And as a co-angler, I hate getting hung up. So I'd be throwing some type of plastic, a topwater early. It can be a good topwater lake when the conditions are right. But everyone thinks that you have to fish the docks, the poles and this and that. There's a lot between docks that people don't realize, especially co-anglers. And me as a boater, I know that I want to hit this dock with this brush pile, this dock with this brush pile, but I forget about that stump that's in 6 feet of water between those 2 docks. And that's usually where, as a co-angler, you have a great opportunity to pick up a good fish because your boater's going to work the dock, cut the trolling motor hard the other way, and it leaves you a good, 2 casts to pick up a fish that a lot of people just don't take advantage of, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So, well, Ben, really appreciate you coming onto our podcast, talking with us again. Last year you tied for the tournament win. Before we let you go, we just want to give you an opportunity to thank any of your sponsors, your friends, family, anybody that supports you in your tournament career, and what you look forward to for this year.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for letting me be on here. I'd like to thank the good Lord first and primary. The day we left from that BFL, I went straight to a mission trip for a whole week and got to serve a community in Kentucky, which was pretty cool and humbling. Just won this big tournament. Now I'm out here working for these people that really could stand it. But next, I'd like to thank Dave's Tournament Tackle, K&J Baits in Jamestown. He's always helped me out, been a big helper. I caught all my fish on his actual shaky head that he makes, and a couple of his fish on his worm. So that was a cool deal. Proline, wearing the Proline shirt. Proline is a scent company. It's 100% all natural extract scent. And you put it in your bag of plastics, or you can spray it on. But the plastic will actually soak up the scent. And I really felt like it was helping me with 180 boats on that lake, getting bites behind people and getting those fish to hold on a little bit longer, especially in the hot summer when they can be kind of finicky.
Good deal. So, well, Ben, I really appreciate you coming on our podcast. Again, for all the listeners out there, we've been talking to Mr. Ben Robertson. He tied for the High Rock BFL win last year in the North Carolina division. So, Ben, thank you again for coming on. Good luck to all the anglers fishing High Rock Lake in the upcoming North Carolina division BFL tournament. Again, before we let you go, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and then also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Again, from Revital Outdoors, I'm Theron Asbury. Thank you for tuning in to another awesome podcast. Be safe out there. God bless. We'll talk to everyone very, very soon.